Good morning. I hold a spiritual gathering for my coworkers twice a month. I call it Spiritual Tune-Up Tuesday because it might be less intimidating for those who are not Catholic than morning prayer or any other term. Everyone needs a tune-up, and so it's proven to be really well received. People are excited to come. It's a 30-minute easy session. And once a month, I use a book as a reference, as the basis for the sharing, for a name of God, that we would reflect on the different names of God. And the book that I use is by Sister Joyce Rupp, called Fragments of Your Ancient Name. And it's a wonderful book, 365 different names for God. The name of God that we choose when we interact really makes a difference and can often set the tone for the rest of our communication and interaction. So if I call God Abba or Papa or Daddy, my relationship will flow from the name that I use when I address God. If I address God by Lord and Almighty God, there's a little more of a formality to my relationship with God. Nothing wrong with that, just setting the tone for our interaction. The name that we used earlier this month was the one who keeps vigil without a candle. That name is so wonderful. The one who keeps vigil without a candle. Now, we know what a vigil candle is about, and as Catholics, vigil lights and vigil candles play a huge role in our spirituality. Often in the church that you've grown up in, or perhaps the one you already attend now, there are candles burning. They used to be real, now often they're electric, and caution for fires. But the idea behind a vigil candle, as you well know, is that we light a candle keeping in mind the intention of our heart, and we surrender that intention to God in the lighting of a candle. When we approach that candle bank, before we light ours, we may see many other lights burning, and we know that others are praying for similar intentions, and we can join our prayers to theirs without ever knowing the details about what they're praying for. This name, one who keeps vigil without a candle, reminds us of the many, many ways that we hold vigil with one another in our lives. They don't just require the lighting of a candle. You have sat at the bedside of a sick child or a sick grandchild many times, keeping vigil with them. Perhaps as your parents have aged, you've sat at their bedside in a hospital or an assisted living facility, keeping vigil with them, the silent alignment of your love and your heart and your desires for them, simply embodied in your presence. Or perhaps you've held vigil, you've prayed for someone, holding them in your mind and heart as they took their final exams or applied, interviewed for an important job. These are all ways we keep vigil with one another. God keeps vigil with us as well. We don't light candles every time we keep vigil with someone else. And this name of God, the one who keeps vigil without a candle, reminds us of the similar experience. God aligning God's divine heart with the intentions of ours, uniting the absolute unbelievable power and unconditional love that God has for us with that burden that you are carrying, that concern that's in your heart. Sometimes people wonder if God thinks about us. God thinks about us every moment of our lives, gives us our next heartbeat, gives us the next breath that expands our lungs. God, who keeps vigil without a candle, is there at your side, carrying the burdens you are carrying. Fear not. Be consoled. God is there.